Hello, and welcome to the 5th lesson of your free guided tour of Chapter 1. My name is Jenna, and I'll be taking this lesson, as James has a day off today. So far this course has actually covered quite a lot of material, and there is plenty more to come. Lesson 1 covered the importance of storytelling, and using stories to communicate and connect with our target audience. In Lesson 2, we looked at the old broadcast paradigm. Lesson 3 was the long one, which took an in-depth look at the history of the internet and how we arrived at where we are today, and the power shift away from the marketer to the consumer. In Lesson 4, the last lesson, we talked about the market orientation, and why it is important for us, as small business owners, in particular, to build long-term relationships with our customers. In this lesson we'll take a look at how search engines have contributed to the change in consumer behavior, so let's get started. Marketers go to enormous lengths to understand how their consumers behave. Many years ago, Procter & Gamble, a leading consumer goods manufacturer, and owners of many popular brands, identified a three-step process they claimed all our buyers went through. These are stimulus, shelf, and experience. As shown in Figure 1.4, on page 23, of Chapter 1. Consumers would initially have some kind of stimulus, such as seeing an advert on TV or in a magazine, or needing to solve a specific problem, which sparked some interest in a particular product. Initial interest may also be sparked by word of mouth by talking to someone. They would have followed this up with a trip to the store, to speak to the salesperson, look, touch, and feel the product, and gather more detailed information, before making a purchase decision. Traditionally, this was the first point marketers could influence the buying decision process. Procter & Gamble called this the first moment of truth, because it was the first experience the consumer had with the product. The second, and final, step in the process was when they consumed, or used, the product, and would reflect on their experience. If it was positive, maybe they'd purchase again. If it was negative, they'd probably look for an alternative. Procter & Gamble called this the second moment of truth. People like to talk and tell their friends of their experiences, thereby generating either positive or negative word of mouth. In this example, the marketer, or seller, is the primary source of buyer information, and is therefore very influential in the purchase decision-making process. These three steps are still as important today as they were when Procter & Gamble first defined them, several decades ago. However, there is now an additional step directly after the stimulus. It's becoming increasingly common for decisions to be made during what Google refer to as the zero moment of truth. This is shown in Figure 1.5, on page 24, of Chapter 1. There are many factors that can influence the buyer at the zero moment of truth, ranging from what the manufacturer and retailers have to say about their product, to what other consumers have said, by sharing their thoughts on the many review and social media sites across the internet. Here's an example of what really happens these days. You may receive a stimulus for a product during a commercial break, whilst watching your favorite program on TV. You reach for your smartphone, tablet, or laptop, and go straight to Google, or whatever search engine you prefer, and type the product, or company name, into the search box. Before the adverts have finished, and your favorite program comes back on, you've already 1. Checked out the manufacturer's website. 2. Found several retailers' websites for price comparisons, and 3. Skimmed several reviews to see what other people thought about the product you saw just a few moments earlier. Literally, within a matter of minutes, you have collated a significant amount of information, and already formed an opinion, all of which may shape your purchase decision. And without even getting out of your armchair. The real significance here, as far as we are concerned as marketers for our own small businesses, is that other consumers, not the manufacturers or retailers, become the primary source of buyer purchase decision-making information. Research shows that we are far more likely to be influenced by what other consumers say, rather than what the official marketing material for the product or service claims. Whatever the stimulus, The next step in the information gathering process is likely to involve a battery-powered device connected to the internet, rather than wearing out shoe leather, walking to the nearest store. That's it for this lesson. I hope by now, you are beginning to appreciate many of the things you need to think about when trying to promote and market your own small business, and why the old way of doing things, before the internet, are no longer totally valid, and why we need a new approach to marketing in the digital age. Everything we have covered in this lesson can be found on pages 23 to 26 of Chapter 1. And, like James, I encourage you to read Chapter 1 as you follow this mini-course. I, for one, find Chris's book very easy to read, and it is actually quite entertaining for a marketing book. As always, if you have any questions or comments, then please do leave them in the comments box below. In the next lesson, we'll take a look at alternative approaches to marketing your business, and the core concepts of the 21st century marketing system. Goodbye for now, and happy reading.